Welcome back. If you haven't heard, former WBA Super IBF WBO champion Andy Ruiz Jr., 34-2 with 22 KOs, is going to be back September the 4th on PBC on Fox pay-per-view. They are back. He's going to be taking on Luis Ortiz, 33-2 with 28 KOs. I believe that this is Andy Ruiz. He's watching Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin as he's training here. This is a video from his private YouTube channel, but it's going to be taking place in the Crypto Arena, formerly known as the Staples Center in LA. Tickets are going to go on sale tomorrow. Yep, he's watching the fight. Tickets are going to go on sale tomorrow. And frankly, I got to be honest, this is going to be a tough sell because just a week, not even a week later, nearly 2 weeks later, you're going to have Canelo Alvarez taking on Golovkin in the T-Mobile Arena. Now, in this economy where gas is, $6, $7 a gallon, where you are having two pay-per-views in the same month, one of these pay-per-views is going to suffer, and it's likely going to be this. Now, Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz is a good fight. I'm going to enjoy the fight. But what price point is this going to be at? Is it going to be at the pay-per-view price point of the average $75, $74.99? Or are they going to try to discount that like they did Andy Ruiz's last fight and Luis Ortiz's last fight? So if you don't know, Luis Ortiz fought Charles Martin on PBC on Fox pay-per-view at the beginning of this year, January the 1st. Started the year off with that pay-per-view. That was, I believe it was $50. Last year, in his last fight, Andy Ruiz fought Chris Arreola. Here, let me pause it. Let's go look at his box rec. Take your time out. Like the video, subscribe. I'm TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360. Now, of course, I'm going to be here covering the fight. I'm going to be streaming during the main event of the fight, September the 4th on pay-per-view, when they have their press conference and all the build-up. I'm going to be here. Also, I'm going to have a podcast on the fight. By the way, my podcast is going to be launching in a couple of weeks. Or less, actually. It's June the 21st right now. July is the target, and it's finally here. I'm looking forward to it. But the links to my social media and my Twitter are right down below in the description box. You're going to see a link tree link, and it houses all my social media. So here's Luis Ortiz. Now, very good fighter, technically sound, and he's got some pop to him. 33-2 with 28 KOs, 43 years old he's listed as, but I'm going to go ahead and say I believe he's much older, maybe even close to 50. His last fight, pay-per-view against Charles Martin, knocked him out. Charles Martin, former IBF champion. He had a return bout against Alexander Flores, where a lot of people felt that this guy flopped. And from my understanding, his purse was withheld for a little bit of time. And his two big fights were against Deontay Wilder, where he got knocked out twice. And both fights, he was winning before he got his ass knocked out. And I'm talking about he was brutally knocked out, definitely, in the second one. But nonetheless, still, this is going to be a high-quality fight. Now, hopefully, if Andy Ruiz wins, which I'm predicting him to win, we get to see him against Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's supposed to be returning. We just don't know when. I knew he wasn't going to be returning after, losing to Tyson Fury within a year. And also, he's got a music career going on here. Here, let's go take a listen in. He has produced a song with his wife, and I can't understand if it's supposed to be like Jamaican. Is Deontay Wilder Jamaican? Well, anyway, I'll let you guys listen in for a minute.
Make my soul say I'm in love. Girl, you drive me crazy.
I hate that name, Crypto Arena. I hate it so much. But yeah, enough of that Deontay Wilder. My bad for the little pause there. My microphone was muted. But I hate that Crypto Arena name. I hate it. I understand, Crypto Arena put up the money, but the Staples Center just was so iconic, But Crypto.com Arena just sounds dumb. But anyway, it's going to be on PBC on Fox pay-per-view. I'm wondering what the undercard is going to look like. Don't expect too much because both of these guys, they command a lot of money. You dig? So I don't expect for, it to be, a slammer of an undercard, but I do expect for some nice Mexican, up and coming prospects to be on the card. Andy Ruiz, really disappointed me. And just so happens earlier today, Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua had the press conference for their rematch. Here is Usyk and Joshua's press conference from earlier today and their face-off. But Anthony Joshua in the rematch in 2019, December of 2019, defeated Andy Ruiz, where Andy Ruiz showed up a whole 10 pounds heavier. Admitted that he wasn't focused. His trainer, Manny Robles, at the time even said he wasn't focused. But since then, Andy Ruiz, his last fight against Chris Arreola, weighed 256.
I would like to
compared to
to now gather outside for the official photo call and traditional face-off, which will take place outside in front of the stunning Red Sea. Photographers and camera crew, if you'd like to make your way outside in a couple of minutes, we'll work to position you all for a photo moment. Thank you for attending. We look forward to welcoming you all back on August 20th, 2022.
So as I was saying, Andy Ruiz went from weighing 283 and a half against Anthony Joshua for their second fight to 256 for his Chris Arreola fight. And frankly, Chris Arreola even dropped him and was giving him way more problems than he should have. And frankly, Andy Ruiz, PBC guaranteed this dude a lot of money. And frankly, that's led to his inactivity. So, for example, since he fought Anthony Joshua in that second fight, he had no fights in 2020, obviously because of the pandemic. One fight in 2021. Earlier this year, he was listed to fight Tyrone Spong on Triller, but his contract with PBC and Fox was like, nah, you can't do that. I guess he wanted some money in his pocket and was frustrated with with all the delays of a next fight of his. And now he's on his way to having just one fight in 2022 against Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz, last fight, of course, only fight of 2022 so far. Charles Martin at the very, very beginning of the year. So he will get 2 fights in for the year of 2022. No fight in 2021 when there was no pandemic. And then in 2020, only Alexander Flores. But once again, pandemic. So both of these guys have been circling each other for some time and desperately needed a fight. And frankly, the PBC stable of heavyweights is kind of wearing thin. So for example, I expect to maybe see Andy Ruiz versus Adam Kownacki, as a comeback fight. But I'm glad they're starting hot. Don't get it twisted. I like the Andy Ruiz Luis Ortiz fight. It's just that I hope it leads to something. The loser, if it's Luis Ortiz fight Adam Kownacki to try to one more last build up, maybe he will retire. Who knows? But for Andy Ruiz, I wouldn't be surprised if it is Adam Kownacki who is going to be fighting when? July the 30th? When is Adam Kownacki back? Somebody let me know down below in the comments. Also, let me know in the comments how you feel about this fight. And once again, take your time out to like the video and subscribe if you haven't. But looking at this, here's the carrot right here that's hanging above is Deontay Wilder. That's the big money fight right there. And I'm guessing that's what PBC is targeting because they really don't have anything, of a stranglehold. They really don't have too much footing in the heavyweight division. Since Andy Ruiz lost to Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder lost to Tyson Fury, both out of PBC stable fighters. Tyson Fury, we don't know what the hell he's doing. From my understanding, and he can't even get in the States right now. Dylan White just got knocked out by Tyson Fury on pay-per-view in April. A couple of months ago, Alexander Usyk and Joshua, as we just talked about, watched the face-off. They're fighting on August the 20th. Joshua just signed a $100 million plus deal with the DAZN, along with getting half of an $80 million site fee just to fight in Saudi Arabia. Trevor Bryan lost to Daniel Dubois, that WBA world belt, and the winner of Michael Hunter versus Hughie Fury is supposed to be the mandatory for Trevor Bryan. For Daniel Dubois, but Daniel Dubois is not going to be the mandatory for Usyk and Joshua. So hopefully Tyson Fury will fight the winner of Usyk Joshua later on this year, you know, December or so, maybe very early next year, you know, just so we can get an undisputed championship. And I hope that Tyson Fury just doesn't try to hold up the titles. You know, that would really, you know, piss me off. But yeah, it's going to be a fun fight. You know, that it's no doubt about that. You know, but the pay-per-view, you know, I'm concerned about if this fight's going to be doing well. So for example, just a quick survey. What fight would you guys rather go to, you know, 2 weeks apart? This fight's taking place on a Sunday in LA. Now, if you had one, now, can you afford to go to 2 fights? You know, if you're going to pick one fight, Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz, or Andy Ruiz, Luis Ortiz in the crypto.com arena, I'm going to just call the motherfucker the Staples Center. I don't care. In the Staples Center in LA. Or would you wait 2 weeks and go to and drive over to Vegas and go to Canelo versus Golovkin 3? Me, if I had to choose, I would pick Canelo versus Golovkin 3 because the implications, you know, Canelo loses, it's like, whoa, you lost 2 straight. If Golovkin loses, it's like, oh shit, bro, you done. You know, and many people are predicting that Golovkin may lose by KO. But Andy Ruiz, Luis Ortiz, well, Andy Ruiz lose, it's like, he may be able to rebuild again. Cool. But if Luis Ortiz loses, then basically he's kind of done, you dig? You know? So it's something to think about. But nonetheless, we're going to be covering the fight. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. I am going with Andy Ruiz, but I expect forward to be a good fight. Thank you for watching. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. And when we get some more news on the fight, we'll be letting you know.